Welcome back. Today, we're diving into something pretty serious. We're looking at analysis that claims a whole bunch of seemingly random events are actually all connected, and they could be pointing towards a major global conflict. It all starts with a war fleet on the move and ends with a really dark secret that was hidden by a total internet blackout.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The thing that's kicking this whole thing off, a massive U.S. naval armada with the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln at its head. And according to reports, it's not just cruising along, it's steaming at full speed, heading straight for the coast of Iran.
So, you gotta ask, right? What's the real reason for this? Is this just the US flexing its muscles, a show of force? Or, and this is what the sources we're looking at suggest, are we watching the first moves in a much bigger, carefully planned conflict? Let's connect the dots here, piece by piece.
First up, let's really get a sense of the kind of military power we're talking about. I mean, it's so important to understand this isn't just a couple of ships sailing by. No, this is a full-blown carrier strike group.
Okay, so the main event here is the USS Abraham Lincoln, and you really can't think of it as just a ship. It's basically a floating military base. Get this, it's nuclear-powered, so its range is, for all practical purposes, unlimited. It can sail for 35 years without ever needing to refuel. And on its deck, it's carrying somewhere between 75 and 80 aircraft, including some of the most advanced fighter jets out there. It's a whole world of firepower all in one place. But it's not just about the carrier. This group has some seriously specialized gear, like the E-2 Hawkeye. Now, the best way to think about this plane is like a reverse radar. Instead of looking for planes in the sky, it flies way up high, looks down, and finds the enemy's ground radar. Then it jams those signals. So before an attack even starts, it blinds the enemy's defenses. It's like turning out the lights before you walk into the room, clearing a totally safe path for the fighters. So you've got all this incredible firepower on the move. How could it be used? Well, according to the analysis we're digging into, this isn't just a random threat. It's supposedly the very first step in a very specific, very calculated playbook. And here's how that alleged four-step plan supposedly works. Step 1, use that armada to set up a naval blockade, cutting off Iran from selling its oil on the black market. Step 2, squeeze their economy so hard that you basically provoke them, force them into doing something desperate. Step 3, you just wait. You wait for them to inevitably attack a U.S. target in retaliation. And then step 4, you use that attack as the perfect public reason for a full-scale war. It's a pretty clear sequence. And if this whole strategy sounds a little familiar, well, the analysis points out that it should. It's almost the exact same playbook that was allegedly used against Venezuela. I mean, look at this side by side. You apply crippling economic pressure, you wait for them to lash out, and then you use that to justify whatever comes next. The pattern, according to these sources, is, well, it's pretty hard to ignore.
Okay, so that brings us to the big question. Why now? Why this huge escalation at this exact moment? Well, the answer, according to some of these reports, is found inside Iran. It's a truly horrific secret that the government there allegedly tried to hide from the entire world. Think about this. For almost 3 full weeks back in early January, the Iranian government just switched off the internet, a near total nationwide blackout. A country of more than 88 million people was just completely cut off. Nothing could get in, and even more critically, nothing could get out.
And it's during this darkness that a truly horrific story emerged. A report, based on info they say was smuggled out using satellite links, claims there was a brutal crackdown on protesters, and the numbers they're reporting are just staggering. They allege that over just 48 hours, on January 8th and 9th, security forces killed as many as 36,500 people. Let's just try to wrap our heads around that number for a second. If you look at this chart, and if those figures are even close to accurate, the daily death toll would absolutely dwarf some of the most brutal conflicts we've seen in recent memory. It's a scale of violence that's almost impossible to comprehend. And some analysts believe this is the real reason for everything that's happening now. So this alleged massacre inside Iran is seen as the trigger. And now you can see all the other pieces on the global chessboard starting to move into place. And we're talking way beyond just that carrier group. Take this, for example, a seemingly random comment from Donald Trump, where he called the UK stupid for thinking about giving up a military base on this little island called Diego Garcia. Now, analysts look at that and say, that's a huge clue. Why? Because Diego Garcia is the perfect plan B.
It's a strategic airfield, a perfect spot to launch bombers against Iran, just like it was used for attacks on Afghanistan. And you can feel the tension in the region just building. Get this, Iran's biggest rival, Saudi Arabia, has reportedly called Tehran not to threaten them, but to promise them that Saudi land won't be used for an attack. I mean, think about that. When your worst enemies are calling you to try and cool things down, you know everybody in the neighborhood thinks a war is about to break out.
And check out the timing on this. At the exact same time that this naval fleet is showing up, U.S. Central Command announces it's running a multi-day aerial military drill right there in the Middle East. Some are looking at this and saying it's basically a full dress rehearsal for an attack happening right on Iran's doorstep.
And this isn't being framed as just a U.S.-only thing. The sources we're looking at point out how all the allies are getting ready. If Iran hits back at the U.S., you could see NATO's Article 5 get triggered, which could pull all 32 members into the fight. The UK is already in the mix because of Diego Garcia, and of course Israel has made it very clear what will happen if they're attacked. The whole stage seems to be set for a much, much bigger conflict.
So what's the ultimate goal here? According to this analysis, it's not just about winning a military battle. It's about what happens after.
The endgame, this analysis suggests, could be full-on regime change. There are even reports that Reza Pahlavi, the son of the last Shah of Iran, the one who was overthrown back in 1979, is being groomed to potentially take over and lead a new, more Western-friendly government.
So that's the picture this analysis paints. You've got the carrier group moving in. You have this alleged playbook already in motion. You have the supposed internal reason for all of this. And you have international allies getting into position. From this point of view, every single piece is on the board, ready for a conflict that could totally reshape the Middle East. The only question left is, who makes that final move?